was given to you by Dr. R.K. So this is the course material circulated. So I'm just going through, right? So the toll gate review questions he discussed, the steps and deliverable he discussed, and certain tools he has thrown light on it, right? So these are the
Sir, I
questions.
have a little question, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, the establishment of deliverable, like the approval of project charter, will depend upon tollgate review, right?
Yeah.
No,
See, project charter, you submit it for approval, and it depends on the quality of information you furnish, right? And the benefits, the kind of problem you are trying to solve. And suppose if your company has the habit of approving your project charter in the toll gate review, then the outcome of the toll gate review can be, an approved project charter. But generally, project charter is submitted separately, and then the review is done only to ensure whether the defined phase steps are done properly, whether the team is now eligible to move on to the next phase, and that will be decided.
sir, can I interfere?
Yes,
Please
sir.
note, this toll gate is arranged by the project leader, right? And they are getting the help of the project sponsor. I will tell you real life examples. I will take myself as an example. You know, I did accounting. I did that ICW or something. And then somebody, I was talking to my colleagues in my college, and they are saying, "What is it? You are wasting your time. You are an engineer. You are done. You are doing accounting. What is the use of that?" Then I realized. Then I changed my field and then did my PhD in engineering. Right. Therefore, it is not that even after toll gate, even after project charter approval, if there is a problem, you will have to change the course. That is your responsibility. I did not talk about our responsibility as a black belt responsibility. Your responsibility is that the project is going smoothly. Thank you.
All right. So I'll bring about important questions that you should be able to answer at the end of the defined phase. First question, is this project important to business? How your project outcome is going to help the business? You are solving an important problem, but will it make sense to my business result? That is very important, right? So this will ensure the goal alignment. Thus, a business case exists. A business case means the dollars. The company need to invest several lakhs on your project for the next 3-4 months. And is there a business case, or we are going to end up incurring a loss by supporting your project? That has to be made crystal clear. There has to be a benefit. The cost benefit ratio should be impressive, right? And that is called business case, the direct benefit, the monetary benefit, and the indirect benefit, the future monetary benefits, right? And that should be highlighted in the business case statement. Have you identified the CTQ, the Y variable, the problem metric? Is that what is that exactly problem, or where I can see the problem? Which metric can carry the intensity of the problem? That is called CTQ. Have you identified the Y variable correctly? Are project plans and key milestones defined? Project is 4 months. Is that the monthly timeline and monthly responsibilities are made crystal clear and responsibilities are assigned? And is that people know the deliverables and who are responsible for the each and every milestone, and everything has to have a clear plan, right? And that should be made available. Are project boundaries and stakeholders identified? Project boundaries, because your project should be laser focused. A specific problem you must try to solve. Your project should not be like trying to boil the entire ocean, and you will never be able to do it. And see to that you draw clear boundaries and try to fix the problem only within the boundary. That's all. Whatever happens beyond your boundary, that is out of scope of your project. Are you able to draw the boundary? Have you drawn the boundary or not? So these are the questions you should be able to answer. If you say,
Oh God.
Bhavin. If you say you have completed the defined phase, if you are not able to answer, if you are fumbling to answer all these questions, which simply means you have not understood the problem correctly. and the team will be allowed, asked to rework on the define phase, and they will not be allowed to move on to the measure phase. All of you now, do you understand what will happen in a toll gate review? Yes, please confirm, respond.
Yes, sir.
Step number 1, project identification. That is what I need to do. Step number 2, selecting the project. There could be 100 problem, but only certain problem will require Six Sigma infrastructure. Those problem will segregate in the step number 2, and then we'll finalize the project charter, and also we'll create a high level process map, a 30,000 foot view of the process which we are trying to improve, right? And that is called high level process map. Main deliverable, approved project charter. Your project is now approved by the project sponsor. Your signature is there as a project leader. Finance controller signature is there because you talked about the costings and business case, and this project sponsor signature is there. Now your project charter is approved. The project comes to life. That's an indication that defined phase is executed properly. These are all the tools for project identification. You can see, and all these tools we will be slowly mastering. And then for project selection, you can use the prioritization tools. Then for project approval, you can use the project charter and SIPOC. Suppose if you are into a product development kind of project, then surveys, cost of quality, Kano model, quality function deployment, and other relevant tools will come into picture. This is, in essence, what will happen in a defined phase. Now, step number 1, project identification, problem identification. Now, now one of you tell me, generally, how you come to know about the problem in your company? Do you have a mechanism by which problems are getting the visibility? Is there any method? Anybody would like to share something? How do you know there is a problem? Or how do you figure out?
Number of errors.
Yes.
That
Complaints
means
from the customers.
yeah, very good. Now, one point I understand is you will refer to the data, right? Somebody told, I look at the number of compliance and all those things. And another Nurul said, sir, customer complaint. Customer complaint is another source. Yes, customer always talk if there is a quality problem, isn't it? If there is an efficiency problem, customer do not care. It is your headache. But if there is a quality problem, then customer will start talking about it. So definitely, voice of customer could be a good source. Your data, that is why data collection is important. Documentation is very, very important. Your data can throw light whether things are happening properly or in an improper manner. If it is happening in an improper way, probably you will understand that an improvement is required. So there are different tools like voice of customer, voice of business, and CTQ tree, which will help us to identify the problem. Problems will get visualized. Voice of customers. Voice of customer is one important source. For example, what are the improvements that we can make in the training program so that in the next batch, we can have a houseful set of students? What are the improvements we need to make so that in the next batch, our batch will be houseful? What should we do now? We should ask our participants, am I right?
Yes.
Are you frustrated somewhere on day 1 or day 2, day 3, day 4? Can you share? We are truly interested in setting things right for you. Have you got the course material on time? Have you got the recordings? Or if there are any problems, do you think the customer can help you understand the problems that are there in your process? Obviously, isn't it? So voice of the customers or the expressions or the statement that drive either satisfaction or dissatisfaction about a product or service. Today evening, we are going to ask a feedback. All of you are going to share your opinion about your experience on day number 1. If we go through the statement given by you, we could understand your level of satisfaction. We can also understand your level of dissatisfaction. If the dissatisfaction is understood, can it be a problem? Can it be an improvement opportunity? Definitely, isn't it? Am I correct or not?
Yes.
So voice of customer is used to describe customer needs and their perception of a product or a service. There is one more called voice of business. What is the difference? Voice of customer and voice of business. Voice of business defines the needs, wants, and expectation of the business owners. Whether the training is going on as per the satisfaction of the customer or not, I could understand through the voice of the customer. Whether the batch size is, good or bad, whether the number of batches you conduct every single month is sufficient or not. These are certain problems which, which the business owner is concerned. Am I right? There are certain problems which the business owner will be concerned about. You can use the word business owner, or you can use the word business leaders in the organization, right? So the leader's voice is fundamentally called voice of business. Can I consider all the employees as leaders?
No.
No.
Definitely. So leaders are, unique set of people who are there in any organization who will worry about both effectiveness as well as efficiency. Am I correct? Who will worry about both effectiveness as well as efficiency.
Who will worry about both effectiveness. Who will worry about both effectiveness.
Okay, Bhavin, you have two devices, so you have to mute one of the device mainly. So they'll worry about both effectiveness as well as efficiency. See here, the wants and expectation of the business owners, stockholders, stakeholders, and others who concern themselves with the long-term success and viability of your organization. Their voice are called voice of business. If there is a pain, you could understand by listening to their voice. That is called voice of business. Now tell me, the voice of the employees, will it come under voice of customer or voice of business?
Voice of customer.
Voice of customer. How we can consider employees as customers? They are internal customers.
Internal customers.
They do have requirement, not just the salary, isn't it? Other than the salary also. Process-wise, there will be requirement. Unless and until you provide the raw material in required quantity, in required time, they cannot, run their process. Am I correct? So they do require certain input. So employees are in general considered as internal customers. Anyone who is outside of your organization, they are considered as external customers.
External customers.
If there is a problem, if there is a failure happening with respect to the external customer, it will be more dangerous than an internal customer, because your own employees can tolerate the problem to a certain extent. But outside people, they cannot tolerate, isn't it? They will immediately file a case. They will write badly about you in a social media. So if the person receiving your output, if he is so sensitive, if he could take, dangerous actions, consider him as an external customer. Consider him as an external customer. Otherwise, if someone is, is tolerable and who can come back to you and tell you what exactly needs to be done to rectify the problem, then consider him as internal customer. All of you do now understand what is the difference between internal and external customer?
Yes.
The physical boundary is your company. But the real meaning is, if he is tolerable, internal. If he is intolerable, external. There could be someone within your team. Any mistake you do, he immediately reports to your boss. Do you consider him as internal customer?
Yes.
Yes.
If he is taking serious actions, consider him as an external customer, right? Because he is going to the extent of, damaging your name. So any failure with respect to the external customer is called external failure. Internal customer is called internal failure. We'll talk about it. So there are two terminology, voice of customer, another one is voice of business. Use them to understand the problems that are prevailing in your environment. Use them. But how do you collect their voice? That's very important. Do you have a mechanism to interact with the customers? Are you interacting with your customer through mailers, through calls, through interviews, through surveys? Do you also frequently talk to the leaders? Do you have some kind of review mechanism where the leaders come and then have an open discussion? They share their problems which they faced in the last quarter. So these are very, very important. Such mechanisms are very, very important to capture, to visualize the problems. Every problem is an improvement opportunity, right? So you can do this either proactively or reactively. Which is good here? Following a reactive system is good or proactive system is good?
Reactive,
So,
proactive.
Proactive, we need to be proactive, right? The first skill, and there is a famous book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. The first point he highlighted is we should be proactive. We should be proactive to prevent problems and failures. So try to have a proactive system in your company so that you continuously monitor the customer's voice and then take action whenever you understand a pain, right? If the customer comes back to you to report a problem, then your system is reactive. If you reach to the customer even before a failure is happening, then your approach is proactive. So these are some type of proactive system element. Interviewing your customer, conducting a focus group discussion, conducting a survey, sales visit, market research, benchmarking. Benchmarking is referring to the leaders, right? And scorecard, business dashboard. All these things are proactive. And reactive. Customer compliance. The number of complaints keeps on increasing. You have a hotline where customer can actually make a complaint, register a complaint. You have a dedicated email. Complaints are flowing, and these are all. That means your system is reactive. Technical support call and customer service call, claims, credit payment, sales reporting, product return information, warranty claim, web page activity, social media activity, sales decreasing, and too many internal complaints. These are all indication that your system is reactive. And we just now we understood that, realized that having a proactive approach is better. And tools to collect the voice of the customer. We know customer interview, on-site survey, live chat, feedback form, looking at the net promoter score, and then the social media, how your customers are writing about you in social media, and all these things are tools. Now let us understand clearly the difference between voice of customer and CTQ. Voice of customers are the vague expression, vague statement. Voice of customers are the vague expression or the vague statement. If you have registered for the course, first time you might have contacted Prabhakaran. Have you conveyed your requirement very clearly? Or have you only, talked in a broader way? You might have talked in a very broader way. Am I correct?
yes,
That's how voice of the customer will be. Voice of the customer will be always broader in nature, less specific. Sometimes it will be very, very vague that people cannot even make out. They'll simply say, sir, I'm looking for a quality training program. But the meaning of quality, the term quality, is very big, isn't it? So we need to break down the statement into specific statement. Then only voice of the customer will become CTQ. Say, for example, now there is a statement. I don't want to wait too long to get my call answered. What is this? Is it a voice of customer or CTQ? It is voice of the customer.
Voice of-
Customers, yes. Customers are complaining about your call center. Every time someone makes a call, they have been made to wait too long. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, they have to be on hold. There is a recorded voice coming up saying that your call is very important to us. By keep on saying that your call is very important to us, how much time they hold you? 20-25 minutes. If someone is holding you for 20-25 minutes, do you really think your call is important to them? But the voice note says like that, right? Your call is very important to us. All our executives are currently busy and we will attend to you shortly. And this same statement keeps on repeating for 20-30 minutes. And now this is the problem. And now tell me, you have to attack this problem. What is the metric you will look at now? Come on.
the waiting period need to reduce.
Waiting period needs to be reduced. Now tell me, how will you measure the waiting period? Will you measure the entire call duration?
No. So how long time the hold, it will be in a hold
What is the
status.
problem now? Call duration is the problem or call answering time is the problem?
Answering time.
Call duration is different, call answering time is different, isn't it?
Yes.
Call duration doesn't carry the problem. call duration, is not truly reflecting the problem, but call answering time or the call holding time or the call waiting time carries the intensity of the problem. Am I correct? So when I say call answering time, now the problem is very specific. Do you understand now? Problem is not with the kind of answer they are giving. Problem is, the time duration for which they are asked to wait. Right? So, food preparation time and food cooking time. Do you think both are same? Food preparation time and food cooking time. Do you think both are same?
No.
Yes.
Different, right? So you need to pick up the right metric which can talk about your problem, right? Whether the cooking time is taking, longer time, or the food preparation is taking longer time. There is no problem with the cooking. I just keep all the ingredients, in a vessel and then keep the vessel on the stove. Yes, food is getting ready. Cooking, there is no problem. But the overall food preparation, there is a problem. Getting the ingredients is taking a lot of time. So you need to know where to focus. And CTQ will answer. CTQ will give clear direction, which direction you should go. So similarly here, I don't want to wait too long to see my account manager. This is a statement from a bank customer. A dedicated account manager is there, but every time I go and meet him, I have to wait for a longer time. So it is not just my experience. Everyone who is holding the account in that bank, they feel, and their voice is this. Then definitely now the bank should consider reducing the customer waiting time. Simple. Maybe you can call them with a pre-scheduled appointment. That's all. Once you call them with a pre-scheduled appointment, they don't have to wait. If the manager is willing to meet me at 3:30, then I will go to the bank at 3:30. My problem is now solved. Right? So the statement which are less specific, broader, immeasurable are called voice of customer. But if you convert the statement into specific metric, which are measurable nature, now they are called a CTQ. Hope all of you understand the meaning of CTQ, right? So CTQ carries the intensity of the problem. A customer segment complains about delay in responding to their queries. Tell me which metric you will use to track the performance now. Will you go for delivery time, or will you go for occupancy rate? Will you go for response time, or will you go for the last option?
Response time.
Response time.
This time.
Because response time is clearly different from delivery time, isn't it?
Yes.
So response time is the metric that carries the problem. You need to figure out. Otherwise, problem is considered to be poorly understood. Am I right? A problem that is poorly understood will never get solved. So understanding the problem is very, very important, right? A well-defined problem is half done. And that is what we are ensuring with the help of CTQ. Now, what is your option? You can read the question and come out with the answer.
Transaction time.
Very good. Transaction time. Again, transaction time is different from delivery time. Dash comes from within the business and dash is provided by the customer.
Last option.
Last option. Very good. Now this question. Go through the question and come out with the answer.
Second option.
Second one, surveys and questionnaires.
Very good.
Surveys and
Very good. Surveys and questionnaires can give you a better picture of what you are trying to understand. Very good. So CTQ tree is a tool that will help you to convert the voice of the customer into CTQs. In between, you will be finding out the drivers of satisfaction. Say, for example, I just need a quality footwear. I just need a quality footwear. Now, this is the voice of a customer, or I need a quality footwear. This is the voice of the customer. And now, when will you say a footwear is a quality footwear? Can you help me identify some drivers of satisfaction? What are the features or what are the factors that might drive your satisfaction in a footwear? Come on, you can throw some light.
The size of the sizes.
Durability is one thing, very good.
Softness.
Flexibility, comfort.
Durability, I agree. Comfort, I agree. What else?
Long lasting life.
That's what durability is. Very good, right? So lightweighted. The shoe is more light the footwear is, the more comfortable it is. Am I right? So lightweightness, comfortable, durable. It should be roomy enough. It should be stable, and you can add on. I have only it is not the exhaustive list. It is only a partial list of the drivers. Now each driver you can further drill down to measurable metrics called the CTQ. For example, lightweighted means overall weight of the footwear. Do you now understand? Lightweight, customer says no, it should be lightweighted. Oh, lightweighted means how much weight you want. I am now I am asking the customer what should be the maximum weight of a footwear. Customer now will say it should be less than 300 grams. If the footwear is less than 300 grams, then I would prefer to buy. If it is more than 300, no, I don't want to buy. So this is how the specifications are arrived. Comfortable. Maybe the customer is talking about heel height. Durable. Maybe the customer is talking about the number of kilometers you can use the footwear, isn't it? Roomy enough. Maybe the customer is talking about the contour width and contour depth. Even after wearing the footwear, you should still be able to comfortably move your fingers inside, isn't it? Now then only customer will say roomy enough. So customer will not say, you tell me the contour width and contour depth and all. He will not tell. He will only say, no, it should be roomy enough. I should get to know some, my fingers easily moving, even after wearing a shoe. Then it is your job to understand, oh, customer is talking about the width and depth of the contour. So how much width I should set? How much depth I should set? That is your job. Stability. How stable the footwear is while using. When I am on the job of walking, running, playing, is it giving me a stable, feel? Do you all now understand how the single statement of customer requirement is converted into many CTQs? Do you understand here? Now, everything on the right side is more specific and everything on the right side is easy to measure. And now tell me, how will you measure weight? You can measure in grams. How will you measure the height? Centimeters, kilometer, yes, distance, kilometers, contour width. How can you measure contour width? Millimeter. Contour depth also millimeter. So if you are, now you have brought the measurability. You have brought the measurability. If you brought the measurability, now your metrics are called CTQ. One problem statement of your customer, leads to several CTQs. These are nothing but the specifications in your product. Hope the term CTQ is clearly understood. Am I right? Now coming to a service industry, a manufacturing industry, footwear manufacturing is it's one thing. But coming to a service industry, look at the statement on the left side. I need a good customer service. But what is good customer service? I don't know. Now I am asking my customer, sir, what do you mean by customer service? Knowledgeable representative, friendly representative, short waiting. I am again asking, sir, what do you mean by knowledgeable representative? Answer given by the representative should be always correct. Representative can answer the question asked by the customer on the spot. Researched information should be returned fast, quickly. Now, see here, by breaking down a statement which is less specific, I am converting them into more specific. That now, whatever you see on the right side or on the or the CTQs or the measurable metrics. Similarly, friendly representative. What do you mean by friendly representative? Customer should greet the, customer must be greeted by name. Whenever the customer speak, your representative should not interrupt. Short waiting, time placed on hold. Customer transfer the call, escalate the call to the next person whenever it is required. So this is how the problem must be understood, right? So this is called the CTQ tree. The entire structure, entire diagram is called CTQ tree. Nothing but a drilling down process of converting the vague expression of the customer's voice into specific statements and measurable metrics. Now CTQs in a manufacturing industry, electronic industry, household appliance, FMCG, and many other CTQs example, right? All of them are measurable. Everything comes with some way of measurement. CTB, critical to business. Can you look at the CTBs here? Do you understand all these things, or what you call the problems of the leaders in the company? Am I correct here?
Yes.
All customer probably may not worry about all these things. What is your market share? Do you think the customer will be concerned about your market share? No.
No.
Do you think every employee will be worried about your market share?
No.
No. But set of selected people who are responsible for the market share, they might be worried. Oh, our share is very low. We have invested huge, but still our market share is less than 10%. We need to do something. So these are called the CTBs. Whether the problem is associated with the CTQ or with the CTB, it should be treated as an improvement opportunity, right? So we understood VOC, we understood VOB. We also understood that customer can be divided into internal and the external. And we also understood the tool called the CTQ tree. Are we good here with all these points or any questions?
What is that CXO, sir?
No, CXO means it can be CEO, COO, right? Positions.
Abbreviation of OEE.
Overall equipment effectiveness, which is a lean tool. Overall equipment effectiveness, which is calculated based on 3 ratings: quality, availability, and performance. Based on the 3, OEE is calculated. And now there is one more tool which all of you need to understand, which is called Kano model. What is this tool? Kano model. This is developed by a Japanese professor called Noriaki Kano. The Kano model, the fundamental idea of Kano model is not every specification in your product makes the same impact. Do you agree with my statement? Not every specification in your product, makes the same impact. No. Different specification makes different impact. For example, in a car, the boot space has an impact. Car mileage has an impact. Do you think both will have the same impact?
No.
Mileage may be more important. Am I right?
Yes.
Or for certain customer, the boot space may be more important. So you need to understand what kind of impact each characteristics is, making on the customer satisfaction. If the impact is more, probably you need to focus more. Am I right? If the impact is less, you need to focus less. So based on this particular logic, the Kano model is developed. Any product will definitely have 3 types of features. Will definitely have 3 types of features. One is called must-be features. You are seeing it here. One is called must-be feature. Otherwise, they are called dissatisfier. Another one is called performance feature. You are seeing it here. Performance feature. They are otherwise called linear satisfier. One more thing called delighter. They are otherwise called as satisfier. You need to understand how each of these set of features will impact the customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is represented in the y-axis. If the customer satisfaction is very high, now you are on top of the y-axis. If the customer satisfaction is very bad, customer is getting frustrated with your particular product feature. Now you are here. The feature has no impact with the customer satisfaction. Now you are here. Do you understand the y-axis here? X-axis. With respect to the particular feature, if your product is extremely doing well in the market, there are competitors. For any product, there will be competitors. If your product is doing well with respect to a particular feature, now you are on the right side. Let's say you are selling a car with a budget of 8 to 10 lakhs. And the mileage of your car is 22 kilometers per liter. And yours is the best in the market, isn't it? Now, where are you here? You are on the right side of the x-axis. Suppose if your car gives only 8 kilometer mileage per liter, where are you right now? You are still on the right side of the equation, right side of the x-axis.
Yes, sir. Performance.
Earlier, your mileage was 22 kilometer. You are on the right side. Now I am telling you your mileage is just 8 kilometer. Now where are you? You are now on the left side of the x-axis.
Yes.
Suppose if your car also gives average mileage, let's say 15 kilometer. Now you are here,
Yeah.
right? This is how now you understood your x-axis. X-axis is your level of performance. Y-axis is level of customer satisfaction. And now the product features are grouped into 3. Must be here, performance here, delighter here. Now what is this must be? Certain features, if you perform badly, customer cannot tolerate. Certain features, if you perform badly, customer cannot tolerate. Such features are called dissatisfier. Say, for example, you want to construct a beautiful villa for your family. You are constructing a beautiful individual house. Now the foundation, quality of foundation. Do you think the quality of foundation is a must be? Am I correct or not? If there is a problem with the foundation laid by the building contractor, will you tolerate?
So,
Definitely. No. But the customer, the builder now executes the foundation properly. But that means, that is okay because foundation has to be stronger. Any building, foundation has to be stronger. But your satisfaction will improve depending on the features that you see in the building. Am I right? Buildings are like ground floor, your first floor and second floor. What you see in the first floor, ground floor and second floor, they are called the performance feature. The more the features you see in your house, the more will be the satisfaction. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes.
And now after completion of the 3 floors, on top of the floor, the builder is, constructing a free swimming pool. Now the swimming pool is a delighter for you. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Which he has not promised, but since your house budget is 1.5 crore, he decided to give you a delight, and he constructed a swimming pool free of cost. And now this feature is called must be, which is like the foundation. So this feature is called performance. Here the idea is more is better. This is called delighter. You have never expected, but the product has certain features. So must be features or the features you should not compromise. If you compromise, customer experience will definitely get spoiled. Can you see the graph completely going down? If you come onto the left side, do you understand this graph? All of you, please confirm. If you are doing well, customer behaves neutrally. You are doing well, customer behaves neutrally. But if you are doing bad, customer gets frustrated immediately. That is why the feature is called dissatisfier. Let us say after joining the Six Sigma training program, you are not able to clear the exam at all. Will you come back to us? Will you refer your friends? You will know you are not going to refer your friends, isn't it? So, certain features will act as dissatisfier. You have to be very careful there. Otherwise, your business will be at risk. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Performance, but certain features, customer will compare you with your competitors. Certain features, customer will compare you with your competitors, and whoever is doing good, probably customer will buy product from that particular company. Let us say you want to buy a laptop. Can one of you tell me how do you buy a laptop generally? Let us say your budget is 1 lakh. You want to buy a laptop. Tell me, how will you buy a laptop? Will you go
By
to
brand name, sir.
brand name? Okay. Will you check online?
Considering their features.
Comparison.
Comparison.
Okay. Tell me
Between
how many laptop will you compare?
Minimum 2
two
or
five
3.
brands.
5 laptop, right?
Yeah.
Tell me 5 brands. One is, what are the brands?
HP,
Dell, Lenovo,
Dell, Lenovo,
Lenovo, Dell,
Apple.
Apple,
Samsung.
Samsung. These are the 5 brands. Why you have chosen the 5 brands?
Uh,
All your basic
Brand name.
requirements are met.
yes.
That is the must be. Do you understand? They have fulfilled all your must be requirement. That is why you have considered. Since you considered 5 brands, does it mean you are going to buy all the 5?
No.
No.
You are still staying neutral. Do you understand? Must be feature helps a customer to come to the level of neutral. Now the study will start. Which is better out of the 5? That is this curve. Now Apple is doing, better in every aspect. Or Dell is doing, in every aspect. In terms of the memory, in terms of the speed, in terms of the screen size, in terms of the camera resolution. Everywhere Dell is doing well. You will finally end up buying the Dell. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
So certain features act as performance feature which are called linear satisfier. Which are called linear satisfier. It is very important for you to understand what are those features. It is also very important for you to keep those features at least to 1% better than your competitors. Otherwise, what will happen? Customer, even after choosing your product for comparison, will not buy your product. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So buying decision comes from performance feature. Can I say like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Getting included in the choice is based on the must be. Buying decision is based on the performance. Now you purchase the Dell laptop. Now you are now making the payment. Now at the time of making the payment, they are telling you, and today there is a surprise offer. Since you are purchasing a laptop from our website, we are giving you a Bluetooth speaker absolutely free. They are giving you a Bluetooth speaker absolutely free, or a wireless keyboard and a laptop bag and a Bluetooth speaker. All these 3 are absolutely free for you when you complete the transaction today. Now, what is that feature?
Delighter.
That was not in your requirement, isn't it? That was not in your requirement. Once you know there is such a tremendous offer running, product is also good, will you refer it to others?
Definitely.
Yes.
That is the function of delighter. Delighter will help you to attract more customer. Your market share will improve. Isn't it? More people will now buy your product if you have delight features. Now tell me, what should be the order of execution when you are developing a product? Will you straight away focus on delighter?
No. First, fulfill the basic need.
Start from the basic need. Suppose you want to start a restaurant in a highway. You want to start a restaurant in a highway. There are many basic requirements to set up a restaurant in a runway, in a highway. Am I correct or not? If you are setting a restaurant in some street inside, no problem. But if it is in a highway, there are several requirements. There has to be tables, chairs, ambience, many things, cashier.
Parking
Do
area.
you think parking facility is also required? If you don't understand parking is a basic need while setting up a restaurant in a highway, do you think people will come to your restaurant?
No.
No.
You will see several cars, simply passing your restaurant. No car will stop at your restaurant. So parking area in a highway, providing a parking space in a highway is a must-be feature. But maybe in some other area, it may not be a must-be, isn't it? So you need to understand how a particular characteristics of a product impacts the customer satisfaction. It can act as a dissatisfier. It can act as a linear satisfier. It can act as a soul satisfier. If it is a soul satisfier, delighter, no problem. If you give, customer will be happy. If you don't give, customer doesn't feel bad, isn't it? Because you are happy with the laptop. You are not looking at the laptop bag or something. You will still end up buying the laptop. But why are you giving this? You wanted to improve your market share. Linear satisfier. These are the features which will help your product stand out from the competition. Dissatisfier. These are the features, if you don't understand, that will destroy the overall experience. Customer never come back to you. So you have to be very, very careful with the dissatisfier. That is why they are called a dissatisfier. Hope all of you understand how the Kano model functions. A product can have 100 features. Am I right?
Yes.
Out of the 100, 42 of them are dissatisfier. You have to be very, very careful with the dissatisfier. Am I right? Once you are able to take care of the dissatisfier, now focus should be on linear satisfier.
Yeah.
Now linear satisfier also you have taken care. Now you can go to the delighter.
Right.
This order is very important. If you have a problem with the basic need, but still you are focusing on the delighter, instead of improving the business, you will damage your business. It is like wearing a tie without having a shirt. You don't have a shirt, but still you focus too much on beauty. You are trying to wear a tie. You need to understand you must have a proper shirt first. Then you focus on wearing a tie or a coat over it. And the order of execution is dissatisfier, linear satisfier, then satisfier. Every product and every service will have all the three kinds of features. Am I correct? If there are 100 features, each feature you should be able to differentiate into any one of the category. Otherwise, you may change the order and you may try to wear a tie without having a shirt. Right? Don't do that mistake. Hope it was clear to all of you. Kano model. Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Right. Now, understanding the y equal to f of x in a slightly different perspective. Y is the project CTQ. Y is called the bigger Y, the project response, the output. Example, the strength of the rod. You are manufacturing aluminum rods or my steel rods. The strength of the rods is very important. If the strength is not proper, probably your steel rods will come back to your factory. Entire lot will come back to your factory. Right? And now the problem is with the strength of the rods. Why there is a problem? Because some of the CTQ, some of the inputs are not good. It could be material composition, or it could be the cutting tool used, or it could be the heat treatment temperature. I do not know. So these are all called the X variable. Since you have not taken care of the X, Y is now under trouble. Since Y is under trouble, all the items you supplied are coming back. Your bills are on hold. Your business is now getting affected. There will be a lot of consequences, business consequences. The business consequences are called the Z variable. The revenues are going down. Customer retention rate is becoming poor. And a lot of existing customers, they cancel the contract. All those things are happening, right? So it's very important that you take care of the X to take care of the Y, and thereby you take care of your Z variable. What is Z variable here? The business results. The business results and the business consequences are the Z variable. In order to take care of the Z variable, the business result, you should take care of the Y by taking care of the X. Do you understand now the relation between X, Y, and Z?
Yes, sir.
This is how Six Sigma is connected to your business. Now the term cost of poor quality. The cost associated with any form of failure, every single time specifications are not met, it is a failure. Every single time the requirements are not met, that is a failure. Now failure can be detected within your company or failure can be detected outside of your company. Who will detect the failure within your company? The quality inspectors. The failures that are detected by the quality inspector are called internal failure. And the failure that are detected by the customers or anyone outside of your organization, that is called external failure. All of you understand the difference between
Yes.
internal and external. So obviously external failure will be more dangerous, more costlier. Correcting the external failure will be too high, right? And you need to be proactive, proactively control the internal failure. Even the internal failure also, either you can correct the internal failure or you can prevent the internal failure. It all depends on your maturity. And there are many things I have written here, examples of internal failure. The scrap rate, the rework rate, the productivity loss, material replacement cost, downtime cost, inventory cost, right? And all those things are internal failure. External failure, delayed deliveries. Deliveries are not happening. Now customer come to know about it. And customer claims, product recall, return cost, regulatory fine, penalties, brand damage, loss of customer, complaint resolving time, wrong transaction, inaccurate billing, customer complaints. All these things are external failure. Product recall. So recently, many things happened. Even the electric vehicles, there was a recall. And 2020 in Detroit, like Ford has recalled 3,75,000 Explorer SUV type vehicle, both in US and Canada, because of a suspension problem, right? And we have come across many such recalls, isn't it? Maggie had a recall. Maggie, they recalled all their retail market product because the Maggie packets were found to be unfit for consumption. So they have gone for a recall. Similarly, Royal Enfield, even Renault, and even Samsung, Apple had a recall, isn't it? So these are all examples of external failure. So failure, whether it is internal or external, there will be a cost associated. Hope all of you agree with me. Whether it is internal or external, the company is losing a money. If the company is losing a money, instead of making the money, the cost is called cost of poor quality. If you have knowledge about the loss, then it is called visible portion of cost of poor quality. If you are talking about a specific kind of failure, if you are able to figure out a failure as a failure, then it is called visible portion of failure. Suppose a failure is happening, but no one in your company is talking about it. Now the failure is called invisible failure. Do you understand the difference between visible failure and invisible failure? Again here, the reason for the visibility is the people's effectiveness. If the people are effective, knowledgeable, then they will visualize many problems. Problems can happen due to quality. Problems can happen due to your speed of production. Problems can happen due to the risk involved in your activity. You see, defect is a problem. Waste is a problem. Risk is also a problem. Imagine you driving a car at a 40 km speed. Do you think your car, driving the car at 40 km comes with certain risk? Obviously, you are driving in a highway, isn't it? But you can definitely live with the risk. Suppose if you drive the car at 80 km speed, can you now understand the risk is increased?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? The risk has increased. Suppose if you drive the car at 120 km, now the risk is too high. Even if the road is empty, still some accident can happen. So allowing the risk to increase means, allowing a failure to happen. So it is in our understanding, if we have a proper understanding, then we will be able to visualize the failure, right? So visible failures generally account to 4 to 5% of the cost of poor quality or 4 to 5% of the sales. These are nothing but all the known failures. This every company knows. But there are many other forms of failure which are generally invisible. You can have a look at the words I have written. All of them or most of the company, they are invisible in nature. People don't even recognize that it is a failure. How many of you are maintaining OEE, overall equipment effectiveness? Are you calculating? We are not calculating. If we are not calculating, yes, somewhere, knowingly, unknowingly, or we are losing money. Similarly, a cycle time is more. Cycle time is the speed with which you produce a product. There is one more tool called takt time. Takt time is the speed with which a customer expects you to produce. There are two things. Takt time is the speed with which a customer expect you to produce at a particular speed. But your cycle time is longer than the takt time. Your cycle time is more than the takt time, which means deliveries are not going to happen on time. You understand? The speed with which customer expect you to produce is, let us say, every 10 minutes customer expect you to produce one product. But you are producing, in just 8 minutes. That means, before the deadline, you will produce and then deliver the goods on time. Whenever the cycle time is longer than the takt time, then deliveries will not happen on time. So by making use of all these tools and the approaches, you will be able to visualize a lot of problems. Problems can be related to quality. Problems can be related to speed. Problem can be related to risk. Generally, the speed related problem and risk related problem are hidden. And if you combine the visible portion as well as the hidden portion, you can easily realize 20 to 45% of the sales is burnt in the form of cost of poor quality. That is why working on cost of poor quality reduction is very, very important if you are looking at maximizing the profit. See here, the cost curve. The cost curve is going like this. You can see here. This is the cost curve, right? And this is the revenue curve. The difference between the revenue and the cost is your profit. You can see at a particular point, the distance between the cost and the revenue curve is maximum. That point is called optimum quality level. That point is called optimum quality level. Any process, any product, any service, any industry, you must strive to come up to the optimum quality level. Because at the optimum quality level, your company is enjoying the maximized profit. If you are below, profit will be low. If you are above, then also profit will be low. So generally, going beyond optimum quality level is not a good idea. And similarly, keeping below the optimum quality level is also not a good idea. But if there is a specific reason because of which you want to go beyond optimum quality level, and that can be done, right? Sometimes we go for further improvement, even at the expense of compromising the profit. Sometimes in order to capture the market share, companies use that strategies. So this is called cost alignment. Assurance cost, prevention cost, appraisal cost. Your inspection is an appraisal cost. You are creating SOPs, design reviews, all of them are prevention cost. And having a QMS system and all those things comes under assurance cost. If you focus on more on assurance and prevention, automatically appraisal cost will come down. You can see a drastic decrease in the failure cost, both internal and external failure, which is called cost alignment. And there is also a rule called 1-10-100 rule, which means if you spend 1 rupee in prevention, you will save 10 rupee in appraisal and 100 rupee in correction. Otherwise, if you hesitate to spend this 1 rupee, obviously you will be losing 110 rupees, right? So let us spend wisely. So if you work on process improvement, sigma level will gradually increase. As the sigma level gradually increase, you can notice a significant drop in the cost of poor quality. At once the sigma level becomes 6 and above, and you can see the cost of poor quality going well below 1% of the revenue, right? Hope these terminologies are also understood. Cost of poor quality, external failure, internal failure, and the 1-10-100 rule. Process with lower sigma level is prone to failure and hence higher cost of poor quality. Is that clear to everyone? Any question on cost of poor quality? Shall we proceed?
Yes.
I have a doubt, sir. So in
Yes, sir.
optimum quality level,
Yeah.
in optimum quality level, could you please share with some examples with numbers? Then it will be more clear. We will get more clarity on that.
Okay, say for example, our training program. What is the duration of the training program?
Could you please showcase in the graph also? Then that will be helpful for.
No, I don't have a
So
ready-made
tell me,
graph.
what is he
You can-
asking? What is he
You can
asking?
only, no, I'll answer. See here,
Yes, this
this
one.
is the graph.
Yes,
What is the duration of our black belt training program?
overall 6 days.
36 hours.
Yes,
And some people are expecting more duration.
Okay.
right? More duration. Let us say they expect 10 days training program.
Okay.
When I go beyond 6 days, do you think we'll get more people?
No.
Maybe.
Maybe, may not be also.
Yes.
And may not be is, more stronger than maybe. So
Yes. So
coming
you
for 6
can.
days, coming for 6 days itself, is difficult for the professionals, isn't it? 3 continuous weekends. So right now, 6 is the point optimum quality level. 6 days, that's all.
Okay.
Right? But if you still wanted to go, you wanted to be very unique in your offerings, you can keep it, 10 days, and there'll be only 3 people or 5 people in your training program. You are still okay with it. Then you can go. Similarly, every specification, there will be an acceptable level. Stop at the acceptable level if you are happy there. But if there is a reason to go beyond, let us say your competitors are doing better than you. Now you have to move up further. Now you are moving up. Now you are moving up at the expense of your profit. Do you understand?
Yes.
So likewise, right? Good question. So now comes Project Hopper. So now that we understood, there is voice of customer, there is voice of business, there is cost of poor quality. Do an analysis, try to understand VOC analysis, VOB analysis, and then cost of poor quality analysis. All of them finally boils down to CTQs, CTBs, and cost of poor quality metric. Right? And now these are nothing but the projects. Customer retention rate is a metric which is bad. Internal rejection is a metric which is bad. And the strength of the steel rods are not up to the mark, which is bad. So all these things are improvement opportunities. Now, this is how you can actually identify the projects, right? Project identification tools are voice of customer, voice of business, and cost of poor quality. In case you do not have data or you don't have time to do all these activities, then go for a brainstorming. Call all your business leaders, managers, department heads, and allow them to talk about the problem. Every department you give 30 minutes. Do you think they will share their problem? Am I correct?
Yes.
They will, in fact, they will start crying during that 30 minutes. If you ask, what are the problems they are facing? They might be having, hundreds of problems which they are wanting to solve. And definitely they will throw light on the burning issues the department and the divisions are going on. So brainstorming is one idea where you can quickly generate, a list of projects. And now the list of project is ready with you, which is called a project hopper, which is called the project hopper. You can see the project title and the department from where the project is picked up and the kind of category. You know about the DMAC Six Sigma project, DFSS project, Lean Six Sigma project. You know about the story, isn't it? And the potential saving is also there, right? This is called a project hopper. Now, how many projects you are seeing in your project hopper? 11. Now, which is most important? Out of the 11, which is most important? That will be given the priority. That will be given the priority. So now there are 2 types of projects. One is to impacting the bottom line. Another one is impacting the top line. What is bottom line? Profit maximization. And the cash flow. Another thing is improving cash flow. And what is top line? Improving the revenue. Generally, the top line projects impacting top line are identified using a top-down approach. The top man will decide, initiate, but the projects impacting the bottom line, they are identified using bottom-up approach. Do you understand? The issues at the operational level. Raw materials are not coming on time. Items are not delivered on time. Our inventory, is too high. These are projects or the problems at the operational level. They are identified using bottom-up approach. So all these things we talked about it, right? So this is how problem can be identified. I'm sure with all these, tools, you will be able to better visualize the problem. Am I correct now?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Sir, which one will be prioritized? Front line or bottom line? Top line or bottom line?
No, that depends on, the organization's criteria. That depends on organization's criteria. See, every organization will be working on certain goals. Am I right?
See,
Yes.
I'll explain here. I'll give you a question. You are young. You have a fiancé.
But I